Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Tim Larson. We hope you enjoy today's movie discussion. Thanks for listening. All right, here we are. Welcome to the BTB Movie Club. My name is Tim Larson, here with almost a full set. We have Brian Larson, Aaron Lashbrook, Mike Wilden, Mike Hilty, Ryan Malo, and as always, Sneaky Dan Sears. Matt Smith is on a victory lap as his son won some kind of championship baseball game today at the Field of Dreams in Iowa, by the way. We are here to start the contest. Frequently, this movie group has mistakenly been thought of as a contest with very competitive people. And we decided to actually have a contest. So we don't have a name for it. So maybe we'll call it Who Picked It? Whoever smelt it, dealt it, whatever you want to call the name of this contest. But 8 of us have picked 8 movies. The rest of us do not know which movies were picked, and we will be randomly picking them and talking about them. And after this discussion, we will all take a guess on who we think picked this movie. Now, in real time live, we're not going to know who picked the movie today. We won't find that out until after the 8th movie, because that would compromise future guesses, and we are keeping score of points. Although that would make it interesting, that's just how we decided to start doing it. So, at the end of this conversation, everyone will, during this Zoom meeting, take their guess for who they think picked this movie. We will keep track of all those guesses, and 8 weeks from now, we'll find out who got the most of them right. They're ending the contest, for which there will be a physical trophy. This is my week.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want a clarification. We will be guessing during the podcast, or are we sending our guesses to Nikki privately?
Originally, I intended to have us send them privately, but I realized that if I just give the list to Nikki after we all guess, it doesn't make a difference. So we are all going to guess live here on Zoom. So we will hear our guesses, but we won't know who's right and who's wrong until we get through the 8 movies. So
thank you.
Also, we have a physical recording of the terrible guesses that Dan Sears is going to do throughout this, and we will all be able to make fun of them with audio proof later on. So here we are today to talk about movie number 236. The title of this movie is As Good as It Gets. We do not know who picked it. We will be guessing that later. Or as Jack Nicholson called it, warm rolls and wet pants. That was his nickname for this movie, and good on you, Jack, for the sense of humor. And also, by the way, whatever, congrats on the Oscar to you and Helen Hunt. So I'm going to lead this conversation, even though we don't know if I picked the movie or somebody else did. That's how this is going to go for 8 weeks in a row. So I will throw this right away out to you guys to answer what you thought about this movie. And let's see. Mike Wilden, looks like you're coming in hot, like you would appreciate if I picked somebody else. So I'm going to go to you first. Your thoughts on As Good as It Gets?
Right. Thanks. Is this as echoey for you guys as it is for me?
Nope, not at all.
All right. Perfect. So I've been pretty distracted in recent weeks, and therefore I don't think this movie got its just due from me upon watching it. I had to restart it, I want to say about 6 or 7 times, because I kept getting distracted doing other things and realized I hadn't even watched, the first 10 minutes of it. So my opinion isn't going to be great here for that reason.
Sorry,
That
Mike,
being
is
said,
this the first time you've seen it?
yes, this is the first time I've seen it. I wanted to see it for a while. So I'm glad that we got to see it.
Mike, would
But
you lie to us to try to throw us off if you were the one that picked it?
You know who might say that is somebody who picked a movie.
I mean, give me a few weeks and see what I say then too. So, I was happy I picked this movie. No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
So acting was very good. Jack was great. I love his portrayal of somebody with some severe OCD and some other issues, and I thought he did a very good job with that. And the note I wrote at the very beginning was, oh, okay, so he's fucking terrible. Got it. And then, see that there are some other things. Um, Helen Hunt did really well. I think my favorite actor in this though was Greg Kinnear.
Hmm.
His I don't know if his character came off a certain way at the beginning, but just throughout the movie, I really enjoyed him. And then the dog I thought did a great job. I mean, I know it's a dog, but still, I liked the dog's role in this. As far as the story, again, having zoned out through parts of it, through no fault of the movies, uh, there were I liked it, but there were certain parts that I was kind of like, like I know this is supposed to be part of it, but Helen Hunt like always changing her mind back and forth and back and forth and back and forth somewhat suddenly kind of just threw me off. And again, I understand that's kind of supposed to be part of it, but it there were times where it felt a little less believable, where it was just like, all right, hey, I would suddenly like, oh, you know what, I'm in love with you now. Hey, oh wow, I hate you, you're the worst person ever. Oh my God, I can't believe that like my boyfriend is what, like, wait, she's calling me her boyfriend, just kind of all over the place with that. And then for a little bit they made it kind of strange with the, I forget his character's name, but with Greg Kinnear's thing where it was like,
Simon.
yeah, Simon, yes. And I don't know. It was like, oh, suddenly I don't know. It just kind of, there were parts that just seemed a little abrupt to me. And again, I feel like that's kind of supposed to be the point, but it still just didn't, I didn't quite vibe with it, I guess. Um, but like I said, acting was great. By the end of it, I enjoyed the outcome, of course. I think I kind of knew that was going to be the outcome just because, I've seen and heard about this movie since the late 90s. But, I enjoyed it. There are just a few other notes. I'll kind of leave most of this for everybody else. But one, since Matt Smith isn't here, I'll be the one to point out that this was a James L. Brooks movie of Simpsons fame, one of the executive producers on The Simpsons. So I was pretty excited when I saw that in the credits. Um, I did towards the beginning when Simon is going after like he knocks on Melvin's door and he's kind of going after him about the dog, and then Melvin's just kind of a dick to him as he is to, most people at most times in this movie. I did think to myself, like, you know what? If my neighbor showed up like shirt open, bare chested, and just started peppering me with questions, I'd probably be a little bit of a dick to him too, just to get him away. That is pretty annoying. I can respect that. I did write the note, what woman doesn't die for a good forehead licking?
That was an awkward scene. That was a
That was
very
incredibly
awkward scene.
awkward. Yeah. Um,
Walden, that's the
I
move. That's the move that you've just
That's the
been
move.
that's
that you've just been
yeah,
missing.
that's I
Forehead
think
licking.
that's what I've been missing. I did, despite the later on the abrupt mind changes that again I think I just didn't get everything that I was supposed to get out of this movie, and again, no fault of the movies, that was more on me. But early on, I did find God, what was Helen Hunt's character's name again? I'm so sorry, guys.
Carol.
Carol. Yeah, I
Carol
did
the
find Carol
waitress.
pretty endearing. I enjoyed, just kind of her attitude. I enjoyed the way she dealt with everybody, but especially with Melvin. It reminded me a lot of nurses and other people in healthcare that I work with when I see them dealing with cranky ass patients that are way ruder than they have any right to be. So I enjoyed that. I also wrote, live your life in a way that an entire restaurant doesn't applaud when you get kicked out of it. Um,
Brian, would you like to make any comments about that?
No,
Okay. Okay.
not right now.
Okay. I
I'll
don't know.
wait till I go.
That was a random question. I'm sorry about that.
I like Greg Kinnear's Jack impression. That was kind of
Yes.
fun when he was like when he did it for the dog. I was like, that was a pretty good Jack. But later on when he's not included in this, but later on when he's writing and he's kind of like crossing off names as he's calling his friends, and at the top he writes friends to ask for money. I was like, I don't like if I were writing a list, I don't think I would title it like that, especially if the list was just for me. Like I know what this list is. So I found that kind of funny. It's just a very tiny thing, but it just kind of cracked me up.
I did,
Um,
Mike, if I could jump in.
mhm.
I think that the girl wrote the list for him because
Like the name of the
he,
list,
yeah,
or
I
maybe she
think
wrote all of it.
Oh, I see.
she wrote the whole thing. Yeah, because
Oh yeah,
this is who you need to call and ask for money. That's the way I took it. Because he can't take care of himself and his hand was broke, so he wasn't really writing. But that was my thought on it.
good take.
Well, I
Also,
guess my fun for
girl
that part has
being
been ruined
Yeardley
then.
Smith.
also, Mike, could you make sure that you're talking into the microphone? Because a minute ago he kind of faded away there. Thank you. Editor's
No? Is
note.
that good?
Great.
Way better.
Cool.
But
Melo,
we're gonna
Sorry
hear
about
from
that.
Melo first.
No, I just Brian said the girl, and I was qualifying that Yeardley Smith, the I don't know
Yes.
what role.
yes,
Okay.
The
Yeardley
assistant.
Smith.
Billie Jean's best friend, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Outlaw
that's-
Billie Jean.
Yeah,
Again,
Legend of Billie
Simpsons.
Jean.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I guess my fun for that note is nullified then. Um, when you first see the kid when Melvin comes to the door and sees the kid, and then Carol kind of shoos him away, and the kid goes into his room and he picks up like a toy, looks kind of dinosaur-ish. That toy was Talon from the video game Primal Rage, which also made a line of toys. I had both the game and the toy, so I kind of enjoyed that. Kind of a little 90s kick for me.
Man, I love that we all
Um,
have quirky expertise in this group, and that is definitely Wilden's expertise. Dinosaur toys in the 90s. It's perfect.
yeah, well, yeah, glad I watched it. Glad I picked it. I may or may not have picked it. No, I don't have anything else.
All right. Um, Side note, as it rained on Wednesday, instead of golfing, we went to the movie theater and saw the new Jurassic World movie, whatever it's called. You could probably
How'd it go?
wait. You could
Yeah,
wait.
that's about what
That
I was
one's
expecting.
that one's worth waiting. It's not extraordinary. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna go off. Hilti, have you seen that yet?
Yes, I have. And it's fine.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Not a
Um,
ringing endorsement, but it's fine.
Right, right.
That's kind of
Okay,
what I think
so
you were saying, isn't it, Tim? I mean, just wait for it to
yeah,
come out on
it's okay.
one of your streaming
It's
services.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
So
watch it eventually. I have to watch it eventually,
that
but
makes sense.
like, I don't need to pay money for it.
That's
That's-
correct.
yeah.
That's correct. So getting back to your comments, I have a couple of things that I would like to say about this movie, and I'll just, if as they come up, I'll pepper them in so I don't have to talk too long at the end. You talk about maybe not getting the feel for the movie. It's sort of it's thought of as a romantic comedy, or that's its genre. But
I
I
got that much.
I don't know that that really fits what's going on in this movie, because there's also a slice of life feel for this, or a characterization type feel. So because it's kind of a hybrid of those two things, for me, I've always felt that this has an authentic feel from scene to scene. There's a weakness in here, and I think it's the overall story. It does, like you're saying, some of it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
What?
But I think scene to scene, the characterization and the reactions from character to character kind of makes sense to me.
Well, and okay, fair enough. And I'll agree with that, but I think that's why Simon was probably my favorite out of the three main characters, because like as time goes on, you keep on seeing like flashes of like, like I said, Carol's really endearing at the beginning, and then she just kind of keeps changing her mind, just back and forth and back
Yeah.
and forth, and part of that story, but it's like, well, all right,
Yeah.
Carol, kind of like pick a lane here. And
Who's
then,
Elaine?
obviously Melvin. I mean, Melvin's being a dick to everybody, but then, he has his moments where it's like, hey, like he sends the doctor over there and it's like, oh, wow, like,
Yeah.
okay, he cares about this kid. He cares about her. It's very endearing. And then it's like, she comes to him and she's like, hey, like, do you have any ulterior motives? And you're expecting him to kind of be like, look, no, like it's looking whatever, like kind of you're expecting, oh well, he's got his soft side and she's kind of going after him, but it turns out he's actually a good guy. But no, he has the ulterior motives. She's like, yep, no, I do. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh no,
Yeah.
well,
Comes with the price.
okay. And then they just kind of keep doing that in rounds until they just end up on the same page at the same time there at the end, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad, but like, all right.
Yeah, there's a lot of scores for this movie that go high, but believability is probably not one of them. Okay, so let's move on from that opinion. Melvin Udall's character is described on one of the sites I read as misanthropic. And that word means just doesn't trust other human beings and kind of hates everyone in humanity and lashes out at them. So I'm going to go from that description to our person of note in this group who comes closest to being misanthropic and most likely to go at war with everyone they see. And of course, I refer to Sneaky Dan Sears.
Of course. All right. You know, I saw this movie back in the day. I really liked it, and I still do like it. But there are, some things that just kind of, don't hold up today. 'Cause of course he's kind of stalking her. Um, he,
Yeah, showing up at the door. That's a good stalk.
yeah. The mom is kind of trying to prostitute her out to him there with her comments. He throws the dog down there. I mean, the dog could easily have been dead if he would have thrown it down the garbage chute. Um, and the romance between them, that this is very hard to believe that.
So, Dan, are you
But
saying none of these things come across as cute?
yeah, I think back, 30 years ago they did, but yeah, not
Yeah.
as much now. Um, I still, kind of like the movie. I think that the acting is really good. I think Jack did a really good job of playing this type of character. Um, there's a lot of little things, a lot of little like one-liners that I like in this movie. When Helen Hunt is he's trying to get his seat back. He can't sit in the diner, and she says, "Well, you can sit in somebody else's section today," and all the waitresses are just like, "Oh." Pretty funny reaction from all of them. Um, she gave a look when um, uh, who was it? Harold Ramis? Is it who the
The
doctor was?
doctor. Hmm.
Yeah, when he said that, we're just gonna bill Mr. Udall for everything, so you don't have to worry about it. And she kind of gave this look like, oh shit, this guy's gonna be in my life if he takes care of the bills for my son. You could tell that distressed her a little bit. Um, let's see here. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, but oh well. It's hard. It's a little hard to get behind Jack's character because he's such a jerk at the beginning of the movie. So I couldn't really root for him. You want him to be a better person and do better things. And like you said at one point, I take the pills, because I want to be a better person. So you kind of want to root for him, but he's a little hard to root for after the first half of the movie when he's such a jerk. Um,
Dan, can I pause you right there?
Hmm.
I think I saw this in the movie theater in 1997. And within the first 5 minutes, because they hammer you with him saying offensive things to people in the first 5 minutes of this movie, like you're just like, here's their character, here's what you're gonna get. I in the movie theater, and every time I've seen it since, I burst out laughing in the first 5 minutes of the movie with everything he says. And my question is, does anybody else just completely start laughing when he does this, or do you guys, like Dan, have a hard time rooting for him? I'll go to Aaron first.
No, I bust out laughing.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but I mean, Dan, you're right there too. So, um, you'd be right in the same ballpark as us. Like, I don't know. I get where it is and where it comes from.
Mhm.
And I just, just like there were, I think me, Mike, and Melo all made eye contact when Tim went with
Carol the
Carol the
waitress.
waitress, and this is like I was just wondering if you were gonna finish it,
Careful, guys. Careful. Careful.
But I mean, I laughed
Yeah.
when he does it. It's like so inappropriate, but
Right. Right.
you know,
Hilty.
I
Hard to
laugh.
root for, or do you giggle?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would
All
say
right.
both.
That's a
Um,
very mature and sensible answer.
I mean, because yeah, you laugh at some of the stuff in here, but some of the parts you're just like, dude, seriously? Like, but so yeah, I would say both is probably the best way that I could say
Okay.
that.
Melo, hard to root for or giggle in the first 5 minutes?
So in the first five, hard to root for, but as I got back into it,
Okay.
I definitely, I found myself laughing at stuff that probably shouldn't, but it's kind of the point. The
Yes.
one, so like Kinnear is at his lowest point, and he's, you know, being a little defensive and aggressive or whatever, and he says, no need to stop being a lady. You'll be back on your knees in no time.
Right.
Right.
Fucking great.
Right.
And
Well,
it
and that's
is.
so just because I'm laughing doesn't mean I'm rooting for him either. I mean, one
Right,
of the first
right,
things I wrote was
Right.
"holy piece of shit."
Right.
So I don't
Right.
think he's a good guy, and I'm not rooting good things happen, but the shit he
Right.
says, the stuff that comes out of his mouth is funny.
Yeah. As Wilden said in one of his first takes. Brian,
which I think is a
giggle
little.
or sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead. I got more, so go
Yeah.
ahead.
Brian, first 5 minutes, giggling or hard to root for?
Laugh hysterically.
Yep. And Wilden, I gave you time to finish that drumstick you were working on. Giggle in the first 5 minutes or hard
Drumstick.
to root for?
Hard to root for. I feel like this is maybe a situation like with Borat where if I'm sitting there by myself watching it, I'm kind of like, you know, not really, I don't really care much for it. But if I'm in a group of people that are all just having a good time laughing at stupid stuff or something like that, okay, yeah, I might find myself laughing along with people. But generally, I don't know, pretty hard, especially in that first 5 minutes, pretty hard to root for.
Okay.
Especially with like the dog when he throws. I mean, not to make any light of any of the other terrible things he's saying to people in the hallway there, but when he just takes the dog and throws it down the garbage chute, I was like, "What, dude?" Like, I anyway.
Little known trivia fact just on that, and then Dan, we got to go back to you because I have taken away most of your time. Betty White was offered the role of the mother, and she refused because of how the dog was treated. She's such an animal rights person that she was like, I can't be part of a movie where an animal gets treated like that. And if I don't know if you guys remember this, but when she passed away, there was a thing going around for everybody to donate to animals being treated, appropriately. So, um, on that note,
One
somebody was
real
watching.
real quick on the note of the mother, there was one other thing I forgot to say, which was I really like the line when Jack's up there or when Melvin's up there talking to her, kind of making his case, and Carol's yelling. He's like, "Why can't I just have a normal boyfriend who does all the?" And then the mom comes in behind her and just goes, "Oh, honey, that doesn't exist," and then just walks out. And I'm like, "Yeah, there you go. Good,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
job, mom."
agreed. Dan, my apologies. I completely stole your show here. Your
Oh, no
thoughts
problem.
on As Good as It Gets?
Um, I mean, and he learns throughout the movie, and at first, when he's putting his plastic silverware down there, and he says that, oh, your son sounds like he's gonna die soon. He doesn't for, 10, 15 seconds, doesn't even realize that he offended her by saying this. He keeps, organizing his plasticware, and then he realizes, that, hey, I probably shouldn't have said that. But so he he gets better at the end. Um, he so yeah, I'll just leave that at that. I thought the dog jumping the lines when he was walking on the sidewalk. I thought that was hilarious. Um, I don't know if anybody saw how they did that. I don't know. So maybe
Yeah,
somebody
go ahead.
knows
Do you know or
how
no?
they. No, I don't know.
The directors put obstructions on the sidewalk that the dog had to jump over, and they digitally removed them after.
Oh, okay, all right. God, I thought it was either that or he's just a really well-trained dog.
That's what I
Um,
thought when I saw it. I was like, Jesus, how did they train these things? But then I fell for Willie jumping across the island thing too. So I don't know.
um, let's see. That the one scene where he says that the dog likes him because he has the bacon, which obviously seemed to be true. But then when he gave the bacon to Simon, the dog didn't go to Simon. Um it went to Jack Nicholson's character, which is didn't quite track what was going on in the movie.
The
But
look of defeat on Simon's face there.
That
It was
was
just like,
terrible. Yeah.
oh
oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was really heartbroken by that. Um, the line is great when he goes to his editor's office, and that woman, she's obviously crazy about him. When he says, "I think I'm a man that take away reason and accountability," that crushed her too, because she obviously was crazy about him, and then he said that, and she's like, "What?" Like, how can somebody writes these romance novels say something like that? Which is really, man, to be able to write romance novels the way he does, but then talk to people the way he does in real life. It's quite a talent that he's got there. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it. Overall I still like the movie. Um, it's just a little harder these days. Um, let's see, anything else I want to add here? But that, what I was saying that, he learns from his, ways, and at the end, you find that out when he doesn't lock his doors. Usually he does this little turn like with the doors, and then as he's leaving, he realized he didn't lock the doors this time. So he's starting to be more involved with other humans in life and forgetting about his little OCD problems there. Um, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. As we were talking with Wilden about the believability scale, that's a hard part that I have with it is that being enamored with a girl probably isn't just going to slowly cancel out OCD. Like that's not how the brain works. Um, but it's
As a matter of
cute.
fact, that'll make it a lot worse.
Yeah, probably. But it's cute for the story. Right? Um so talking about whether this movie holds up or not. I'm going to go to Brian, and I can edit this out later if you want me to, Brian, but Brian has told me before that, he feels at times people are too sensitive at this point. Just back off of the sensitivity stuff. And so Brian asked, ask you to go next. And how do you feel this movie holds up versus the first time you saw it? Did you see this in the 90s?
I did see this in the 90s.
Do
Yes.
you think it holds up, or do you think it doesn't hold up as far as how aggressive it is with his
Uh,
behavior?
I don't know what you mean by holds up. Um, because we've said that about other movies and things like, oh, it doesn't hold up, it doesn't hold up, and I guess I don't understand the meaning of that. Could it have been made nowadays? No, because again, I'm someone who gets myself in trouble because I'll say things either without thinking or without caring a lot, and um, sometimes I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's, I don't worry about offending as much as some other people. And, I know that's a me issue, and but I'm not working on it. So, do I think that if this movie was made nowadays, would there be a lot of blowback and a lot of up in arms stuff? Yes. Do I believe it would be necessary? No, you know. So, um,
What are you basing that on, Brian? Like what in the movie do you think would
well,
piss people
talking
off?
about the Jewish people having large noses, talking about gays the way he does,
Mhm.
talking everything that is sensitive in the world right now that anybody's going to get on their little soapbox and feel offended by.
Okay, and
OCD
the
people will be offended. So,
well, and I'm thinking strictly movie wise though, in the arc, other than him trying to get his table from the whoever those people were, um, everything else, like even though as far fetched as it, Tim already said, falling in love with a girl and having her love you back doesn't make OCD go away. But he did say he was taking his pills.
yeah, the
Yeah.
pill was what made the OCD go away, not
Yeah.
the. I
Right.
was
Okay.
going to
So
say that
it
also.
wasn't that. But
Okay.
then it was also like he ends up having Greg Kinnear live with him. So like the whole character arc of, using homosexual slurs and, all that by the end, he doesn't lock his door because, he's more trusting of the world and blah, 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 like feel
Mhm.
good stuff. So, I mean, I could see depending on if like the script leaked or, um, if they use certain clips in promo, then maybe it might get a little backlash. But I think if people went to the theater to see it and like watch, they're using those things to make him a terrible person at the start. And, he has a fairly predictable character arc through the movie. And, we want to kind of like him at the end. I don't think people would have a problem with this movie being made now.
Well,
But that's
let
just
me
me. That's why I was
explain.
asking.
Let me explain where the question came from because I know I've said this before. I watch Friends reruns a lot and love that show. Watched it live all the time and love watching the reruns. And I hear all the time that when you have high school kids nowadays watch Friends, they pick it apart and say how inappropriate it is, that it's homophobic and it's, racially charged and stuff like that, where society is in a sort of a different place. And for some people, that doesn't hold as well as it did because it's on another side of some kind of a society line that's drawn. And so when I'm asking, does this still hold to Brian, what I'm asking is for you, d- does it change? Is anything cringeworthy, or are you just like, no, this is just as good as I saw it before? Because I'll tell you myself, I think it's just as good as I saw it in 1997.
Well, and I've heard the same stuff with like Friends.
Yeah.
That's completely different. I think, when they watch something like that because it's a 30-minute comedy or 22-minute comedy and they're using the jokes as throwaway stereotypes and tropes and never addressing it again. Where this, I'm talking about the whole character arc kind of redeems him.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
get that.
that's what I would say would be different between these two things.
I get that. Okay, Brian, sorry. Your thoughts on the movie is as good as it gets.
uh, I like the movie today as much as back in the day. I was very glad that Dan picked it. Um, I did think it was funny when he picks the dog up and the dog starts peeing. I mean, you could just tell that's shooting out of his glove. It
Right.
was it
Right.
was so poorly done.
Yeah, try some
Um,
CGI, guys.
yeah, especially if they're going to digitally like get rid of where he's stepping over stuff on sidewalk. Then come on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't like animal cruelty whatsoever. I didn't have an issue with him putting the dog in the garbage chute because to me, in my mind, reality wise, it's not, it's not in the incinerator. He's going down. And, the dog's eating baby shit out of a diaper, which when the guy returns the dog to him, he's licking Kinnear's face. He was just, oh, so felt bad for Kinnear on that one. Cuba Gooding Jr. does a great
Great.
job in this. He's coming off Jerry Maguire,
Yep.
where, super macho, and then he plays this character. just showed a range of Cuba Gooding Jr., which I liked. Um, the um, and I believe it was Mike said Kinnear does a really good Jack Nicholson. It was and he there was a few times where just in general talking he came across sounding like Nicholson. I don't know if he was trying to or it was just an accident. And they left it in or what. Um, the Melvin Udall, just like I don't think I think he the OCD was one thing, and the abruptness and just saying what he wanted, that was just a completely other side. I don't think there was a mental illness involved in that. It's just he didn't care. And um, it was like when they were at dinner and he's like, I've got something to say. I got a compliment for you, but let's order first. And he just screams it to the waiter at four tables over, just okay, I'll tell your waiter. That was I just thought it was hilarious. The When they were saying that he came, they get back and he's bringing them into his home, and um, I don't know if you guys noticed one of the paintings on the wall or in the background was it looked like an older lady with a son, and she was either see-through or topless, I think it was. But that's what he was talking about. How I mean, that was a depiction of his mother and him, because you know mom, he was saying she was posing nude for him.
I didn't
Um,
catch that. Good catch.
and I think I as a father, if I came in and saw that, I don't know how I would react either. You know, so it was just a weird situation.
I know how
Um,
my dad would.
but
I laugh.
I, when when he was talking about the colored guy and the he's like, what color's that? And then I just thick molasses. I mean, just that was so fucking funny. That was where I started laughing and kept laughing for a while. But the other line that killed me was when he's at lunch with Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character. And he asks him about driving him, and he says, "Think white and get serious." It's just okay.
I wrote that down. What does that fucking mean?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Yeah.
I don't know. I just started laughing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He, the black guy had a crazy idea, so he told him to think white.
Okay.
But um, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie as much when I watched it this week as I did back in '97. I did not see it at the theater, but I did own it on VHS at one point. I do not have my VHS collection anymore. So yeah, enjoyed the movie. Helen Hunt was fabulous too. I didn't even mention her. The idea, getting mad at him talking to her kid. I completely get that. You're not teaching you of all people aren't going to teach my kid manners. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The irony in that was not lost, and just overall, you know, in my opinion, a very good movie.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. You bring up the Helen Hunt situation, and Wilden brought up Helen Hunt as well, as far as I like him, I don't like him. One of the things that does work for me in the story building here is the fact that this kid is so ill all the time that both she and her mother are not allowed to have any kind of social life. Their whole life is if I take 2 steps away from home, I know that I might have to run back home right away. And so any kind of normal relationship outside of the grandmother, the mother, and the son is very rare. And so some of that actually makes sense to me, even though in normal human relationships it wouldn't. So I think characterization building, even though believability is on the lower scale, some of that I actually buy as I watch this. So I'm glad you brought that up at the end. So Hilti, I'm going to go to you. You are quite the expert on Oscars compared to the rest of us. Who was nominated and who didn't win and who won. Jack Nicholson wins an Oscar for this performance, and Helen Hunt wins an Oscar for this performance. And I would say my opinion on this stuff is whether or not somebody was worthy of a nomination when they perform. And as far as who wins, I don't, I'm not as invested in that. Here's the reason I think both of these win this Oscar is that they are masters at facial expressions. And that is very apparent for both of them in this movie. So I'm going to throw it to you and get your thoughts on as good as it gets, and also comment on your opinion on the worthiness of them winning these Oscars.
Worthiness of winning the Oscars, sure. I would say,
Okay.
yeah, they're both definitely worthy. Um, I think more so, I would say for Helen Hunt than considering based also solely on considering just the competition of that because
Okay.
given who was nominated for Best Actress, you look at the people who were nominated and it's like, like I none of them really stand out. Um, because like even Kate Winslet, because like Titanic is the movie that
Right.
just like won everything
Right.
of except like any of the acting awards, um but there's no way that like anybody was gonna beat Titanic, which is weird because Titanic's a fine movie. The ending is kind of ruined for you because you know what's gonna happen. Um but overall, I would say Helen Hunt definitely deserved her Oscar, and I think Jack Nicholson is more of a toss-up, even though I think he definitely does deserve it because sure, Jack Nicholson can play an asshole like all the rest of them, but I think this one gets a little bit more nuanced because of what Aaron brought up is the character arc. I think the character arc really salvages this because if Jack Nicholson's just being an asshole and he's got OCD, that's one thing, but the fact that his character goes through a complete arc where he is progressing, he is learning, he's still an asshole, but he's at least trying. And that I give a lot of credit for. And it's weird because you look at roles like this and stuff like this doesn't win Oscars anymore. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot of portrayals of famous people or historical
Imitations.
figures,
Yeah.
imitations. That's really it. And it's sad because I think because the original I think the question that you asked Brian, I think kind of is valid because I think this is a product of its time and that's where grace needs to be given to a movie like this because it is a very funny movie if you can get past some of the quote unquote offensive stuff that is coming out of this. I but it is the product of the time because that is how people acted during this time. And that's kind of the thing that I try to hang my hat on just like a little bit for all those people who are like, oh, all those people who are saying Fat Monica and in Friends. It's like, yeah, but people were assholes to fat
Yep.
people back
Yep.
then. And in fact, people are still assholes to fat people now. So
Yeah.
chill chill out. But I think the only thing that really doesn't hold up is the some of the dog abuse. That's about it. But even
The
that
pickles.
is small, like at the end of the day. And also that is another thing that happens throughout the course of this movie is, you know, Melvin did not like that dog at first, and then just seeing their relationship, I think the dog's the MVP of this movie, like plain
Yep.
and simple. The Without the dog being kind of the catalyst for some of the change that Melvin undergoes, he has. I don't think he continues that trajectory or that growth as fast as he does without at least testing the waters out with the dog. So
Can I jump
to
in there for just a second, Hilty, very shortly? In 1997, when I saw this movie, walked out of the theater, my thought was that dog just stole this movie from all these actors. And when I watch it now, it's not as impactful. I don't think the dog steals the movie, but I agree with you that it's a catalyst is a great word for that.
Right. Well, so I agree with Hilty here though, because like the dog is the first being that Melvin actually relates to. He doesn't,
Yeah.
start relating to Carol, not really. I mean, he likes Carol, but he doesn't really start relating to her for a while. He doesn't really start relating to Simon, or anybody. The one that he first relates to is the dog, and that opens the door for him being able to relate to another being. Because for a while, it's just him in his own little world, and
Yeah.
fuck everyone else. What do you know? And when he sees the dog like skipping the cracks and he's like, hey, like I love that scene because like, hey, he get like this dog gets it. Like it's not I'm not the only one that does this thing. And it like just kind of I do agree. I think that really does open the door for him. Sorry.
It's all good. I know you didn't really ask about Greg Kinnear in term because he was nominated for Best
Yep.
Supporting Actor as well.
Yep.
Um, Despite the fact that Robin Williams is fantastic in Good Will Hunting, um, that was also that was a combination of great performance and also a bit of a lifetime achievement award because for some individuals who win Oscars, sometimes it's like, is this your best performance? No. Have you put in the work and is this like really good? Like I'm looking at Scent of a Woman for Al Pacino. It's like, is this your best performance?
Right.
No, but is it still enjoyable enough to get you the best actor or whatever? That's fine. And if you look at Helen Hunt, because this role for her, um, not too terribly far off some of the things that she was doing during this time period as well. And if you look at where she's gone, like, what's the last thing that everyone saw Helen Hunt in
Twister
recently?
was before this, right?
Twister was before this, yeah.
This maybe. She's directed though since this. She's kind of shifted in career.
She's still acting though.
I don't know.
She's in Hacks. She was in the TV series Blind Spotting, and she is drastically different. She's like an
Hmm.
asshole in all of these things that she's in now. And it's just kind of nice to see her branch out. But it's funny because after this, she did take like a long break from acting because she had been working nonstop because she was double dipping between this and Mad About You, where she was just
Hmm.
working a lot during this time. So it's good to see that she did get recognized for this. Overall, like I don't have a whole lot else to contribute movie wise. I think this movie is good. I enjoy it. Um, it's funny. It is very funny, and the performances are great. And I think that's about it. I think the thing, like, I'm glad that Aaron brought up the character arc piece because the first time I saw this, like I just could not get over that Jack Nicholson was just such an asshole to people. And the OCD part, um, I'm not going to pretend to I'm not going to pretend to know what somebody with OCD is going through. And I can't really comment on Jack Nicholson's portrayal of the OCD piece. I think Brian's right. I think like there would be a group of people that would be up in arms about, you know, he's not he's not being sensitive to the OCD experience, or he's people aren't um they didn't find an actor that actually has OCD. It's like, dude, the guy is doing the best he can. He is an actor. He is acting. We don't need things to be like 100% authentic for like that's just part of the trait of acting.
Yeah, we're
But
telling stories here.
yeah, so I think like Jack Nicholson is great as always, like in the 90s this is just kind of like the beginning of like not like the full on decline, but just amazing in the 70s. He was great in the 80s. The 90s, it was starting to become a little bit more hit or miss. And then, everything kind of just ended with The Departed. And then that was that. So,
Mhm.
um, Dan, great pick, I guess. And so,
You know who would
yeah,
say that? You know who
uh,
would say that? I'll tell you who would say that. The guy who picked the movie would say that.
yeah, um, yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Hilty. I was going to go to Melo next and have Aaron go last. However, two reasons. One, I can't remember Melo ever going last. And second, you said Mad About You. And Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you and I talked about Mad About You in the 90s. And you said, uh, I'm remembering thinking, oh, I love Helen Hunt in that show. And you said something like, I can't stand her in this show. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna just look like an idiot. But let's go to you, Aaron, next, and see if I'm anywhere close to the truth on that conversation and your thoughts on As Good as It Gets.
Well, I'll start where you want me to start. I'll start at Mad About You. So when we
Yep,
lived together, Tim,
yep,
my routine was getting back from class. I
that's
would
right.
watch Mad About You, Friends, Mad About You, The Simpsons,
Simpsons.
um, Jerry Springer, take a nap,
We used to watch
and
Jerry
then you
Springer all
would
the
wake
time.
me up with, two or three 12 packs of blue or green. What was it?
Labatt's. Labatt.
Labatt. I was going to say Michelob. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, things have changed.
But yeah, that was every day, Monday through Thursday.
Right.
So, um, but all right. So what you're remembering was I loved Mad About You.
Yep.
It was actually this movie that I don't know if it was oversaturation or I just had enough or I got to that point. Um, but I couldn't stand Wilden. I'm going to credit, you talking about like her decisions back and forth. I love you. I don't love you. Just the breath and the look on her face all the time. Like I was like, oh my God, I think I hate Helen Hunt. So from this time on, I've never liked her.
There we
It
go.
was this movie
I
that
do
ruined her for
remember.
me.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved Mad About You. Um, I was gonna go through and I was actually writing some things down for other than my notes, but like somebody had brought up the face acting. Um, I think top to bottom, Cuba Gooding Jr., the receptionist. I think everybody like should be like a class or an acting class. The day they talk about facial expressions, this has to be the movie that they dissect or watch or whatever. Because
It's
like
pretty solid.
everybody in it is, and even just me like talking bad about Helen Hunt with her disturbed. What are you doing? What do you mean? What's going on? I'm kind of mad, but I don't know. Just even that look on her face, even though I want to have, another girl hit her because I never would. When she makes that face, it's still a face that invokes a reaction. So she's doing her job. Um,
It's important that the BTB does not condone any kind of violence towards women. Just
or
for
anybody
those of you
could
that
be,
don't,
or
or
anybody. And I said
anybody.
I wouldn't do
Yes,
it.
yes.
You're talking about you don't mind the dog being chucked down a garbage chute. We don't
That's
know.
fair. That's fair.
Um, I did want to like if I couldn't place the receptionist. I'm going to just kind of go all over the place and just say what I think about the movie. Overall, I
Please
liked the
do.
movie. I liked it then, liked it now. Couldn't place the receptionist. She's from Lost, right?
No.
Where is she from?
Julia Benz is her name. She played Darla in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and was
Ooh.
in Dexter, which I have never seen Dexter.
That's where I know her from. Dexter's wife. God dog it! I thought I had. I was like, oh yeah, she's in Lost. No, nope. I really
Earlier,
should
we
look
talked
things
about
up.
Wilden being the expert in dinosaur toys in the 90s. If you want somebody who knows cute blonde actresses from the 90s, Brian's our guy.
Yeah, I could have looked it up or just
Ask Brian.
Googled Brian. Um, yeah, so I've already gone through my Helen Hunt thing. So, and I already said that like one of the first things I wrote down was, what a piece of shit for Jack. Um, but then also totally forgot about Cuba in this, and I mean, everything you guys talked about the dog stealing scenes. I thought every scene, and he wasn't used that much, but um, both in the hallway, both times in the hallway, and then at the restaurant, I just thought he was great. Even just playing off Jack, where um, Jack, last word freak, and
Yeah.
just them bickering back and forth. It was so good. Um, the
How about
dog
him?
is definitely,
How about him stealing Frank's line to talk to the cops? You
yeah,
don't know where
yeah,
I come
love it.
from, hell. I'm from hell, homeboy.
Yeah, no, like that. I think it's a really good movie. I think it's well written. I don't know about this was something else I was going to write down, but I never got to it before you got to me. Um, I don't know about Academy Awards. Great face acting, but you know, um, and I also wanted to pick up where Mike was saying, Williams might have been more of a um,
Legacy.
what'd you call it, like a legacy award. Not that he was getting up there in years, but it's like he's got a good body of work, and this is a really well received, critically acclaimed movie. If we're gonna give him one, because he might not, he might go off the rails, or he might, who knows what's gonna happen.
Kill himself.
I think they chose well. That wasn't until decades later. But you never know. You never know. Um, so I'm glad he got it. Collect yourselves,
Uh,
gentlemen.
the
Collect
facial
yourselves.
expression award goes to Brian Larson for the worst comment. Uh, the Melvin Udall comment of the night.
He is so proud of himself. Um, this dog had to be selected for its resemblance to an Ewok. I had to throw that out there. Um,
Absolutely.
what else did I write down? Oh, this movie is, I want to say, or at the time, for a decade later, well known for two lines. Um, Not that he says he takes his pills, but that whole thing about you make me want to be a better man. Oh, that just, panty dropper right there.
Yep.
Um, and then shit, what was the other one? I wrote it down. Um, Christ, what's one that's earlier in the movie?
Who
Earlier.
who's he
The
saying
one
to?
the
can't
one that
find it.
was in the trailer is like, how do you write all of your people? It's
Yeah.
like, I take a man and I take away reason
Exactly.
and
Then
That was it.
accountability.
Yeah, accountability. That's Dan brought that
Yeah.
up earlier. Is that the one you
That
were thinking
was
of, Aaron?
Yeah, so those are
Okay.
the two that are like most well known for the movie. For me, and I loved it when I heard it, totally forgot about it, and now I heard it again and I was like, that's the one. Um, when he's talking to a psychiatrist and he's like, I'm drowning and you're describing the water.
Yeah.
I love that line. I don't know why, but that one's always stuck with me. What do you think, Tim? You were looking like
I
you
think
had
he
one.
actually says that to Simon right before he goes and talks to
Oh, yeah, it was Simon.
Carol. But the one that got me the first time, and it gets me every time, and when I think of this movie, it jumps out to me. It's when he's being completely disrespectful to the cleaning lady who's asking him to have
Shut up. I
God's
wrote that
good
one down too.
grace and let God's light shine on you. And he says, where did they teach you to talk like this? In some Panama City sailor wanna hump bar. That is so over the top that
I have
I
it
lose
written
my shit
down
every
right
time
there.
I hear it. I'm like, that's the worst human being in the world. And thank God this is a movie, not a real person, because I'm okay laughing at the movie. If it was a real person, I couldn't laugh.
Yep. That was another one. That was probably the funniest. That's like why I wrote it. Like I rewound it and I rewound it twice. Rewound it once when the dog peed and I was seeing, can we see it coming out of the finger of his glove? Can we,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then I rewound it when he said that because I wanted to get it right, because I mean, it's terrible, but hilarious. Um, it's one of those because 1997, he's 60 years old, you
Right.
know, Helen Hunt's 34. This is, it's a weird relationship they're trying to
Right.
set up anyway. Um, but as far as like the OCD and him having probably some social anxiety, and just overall not being socially well adjusted. Um,
Yeah.
I think they dealt with it pretty good, and yeah, going to her house because he couldn't eat breakfast unless she served it to him. It's like, what do I got to do to get you back to work? Your kid's sick. Okay, I'm going to send you a doctor. And I don't think he was sending her the doctor to get in her pants. He was sending her the doctor to get his 2 eggs.
To get to the breakfast.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
it was never about like sex or anything.
That was
Even
a
though he did.
bonus at best.
Right. So he did want, but I didn't think it was like, that bad. Yeah. So I liked it then. I liked it now. It turned me off of Helen Hunt for life, and I was a big fan. The side actors, even the uh, guys who he was painting and then ended up robbing him and beating him up, um, everybody in it was or became, I think, mostly became, did other
Was
things that I had seen him in. The
Wasn't
guy,
Skeet Ulrich, I believe is his name, and
And
he
Jamie
was
Kennedy.
the killer in
Jamie Kennedy.
Scream.
Yep.
Yep.
And Jamie Kennedy
And then
was
Jamie
in there
Kennedy,
too.
yeah.
awesome in Scream.
Boiler.
It's a weird thing. You see Jamie Kennedy in that scene, and you're like, I'm pretty sure I know that guy. And then
Yep.
I had to think about it for a minute to figure it out.
And then you're like, oh yeah, the mask too. Um, I got guilty with that one. Shit. There's one other thing I wanted to say about the supporting cast. Oh, even the boyfriend she went on a date with, and they were trying to kiss on the couch, and the kid got sick.
The forehead
Like
liquor.
I've seen him other places. Like he looked familiar.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just thought it was a pretty tight cast. Like I said, top notch for facial acting. Don't know about any Academy Awards, but whatever. I thought it was, good and good. Good then, good now. I'm
Has
glad
anybody
Dan
s-
picked it. I was happy to watch it.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Has anybody seen this movie and tried to do the sunglasses trick, where you just move your forehead and have the sunglasses just fall right down on your
100%.
nose as a
All
result
the
of
time.
seeing this movie? I've tried it. I can't pull it off. I have no. Jack Nicholson has too much talent.
I worked with a guy.
He has sunglass talent. Okay, so thank you, Aaron. Great comments. I would like to give you guys a couple of things that Hilty normally does for us here. I'm going to give you some Hilty numbers and names. This movie was shot for $50 million and did $314 million at the box office. A lot to do with marketing. They crushed it with marketing. I love the music in this movie. And I think the music, the promos, the actors, the performances drove this thing to success, even though the story is a little, it's got some holes in it, right? The plot. Actors and actresses. Some people thought about for Melvin Udall, Bill Murray, and John Travolta. Just think about this movie with either one of those guys, and it's a totally different movie. And it makes me think about directors, producers, and casting directors and what kind of job they do for what kind of character they have. Like, I can see both of those guys doing it, but how do you make the right decision and go, this has got to be Jack? You know what I mean? Carol, actresses were Uma Thurman, and she was thought to be too young. Melanie Griffith, but she was pregnant. Holly Hunter was offered the job and didn't take it. And Courtney Love was offered the job before Helen Hunt, but didn't take it because she was going on tour with Hole or recording an album. Simon, Kinnear's situation. Woody Harrelson was thought of for the job and was so nervous about acting with Jack Nicholson that he backed out. He didn't think he could handle it. And that's Jack Nicholson lore in Hollywood right there. John Cusack was thought about for the job of Simon and wasn't available because of his responsibilities with Grosse Point Blank. Jim Carrey is somebody that Jack Nicholson wanted, but the director said, I don't want I don't want a comedy actor here. Nathan Lane was offered the job, but Nathan Lane had just come off the Birdcage and was like, that's too on the nose for what I just did. And then he did, I don't remember what it was, but an animated movie after that. And then Tony Shalhoub asked if he could be part of this, and he wasn't. I think of the list, I think Tony Shalhoub would have done a pretty nice job there. And the only person I saw for Frank that wasn't this is typecasting uh, that wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr. was Chris Rock. And oh my God, like what kind of movie could we have had? Like shuffle all those actors and think about how different this could have been. Um, thank you guys for all commenting. I'm just kidding, Melo. I know that I forgot you. I was just bringing that back to you. So Melo, your thoughts on As Good as It Gets?
No, it's all good. I mean, it fits that I go last for a movie I picked. So,
You know who would say that?
Oh shit! Let me write that down.
You know who would say that? A guy who didn't want to get picked.
um, so it's funny. Went scalloping yesterday. So was on a boat and tried to watch this last night. Didn't work out. Watched it today again. And so I watched, I don't know, a good half hour last night before getting very sleepy. And I saw it in the theater originally. And then so I was curious, what that was going to feel like watching this again. And I didn't feel good about it. Like it was just like it felt dated. It felt I don't know, like I wasn't getting the jokes or I don't know. But then watched the whole thing through today, and felt very different. So I do have a bunch of notes. I don't understand the opening scene. Why was he with Verdell alone in the lobby? I don't know how that.
Okay,
What situation?
I can help with this because
Please.
our friend Jenny lived in an apartment complex with a cat who every time Jenny would open the door, that cat would run out of there and race down the hallway. And fortunately for Jenny, nobody was usually out there and she could go out after her and get her. So if you're at a party in your apartment with a lot of people where you have less of a focus on your dog and somebody opens the door to come in, I can see a dog running out the door and you not even knowing
What
it.
what was his goal was to help it piss outside instead of in the lobby where he found that dirty? Was that the goal?
My take is the dog had pissed on the wall before and he can't handle it. So he was like, I saw you piss in the hallway once. So since you did that and I need that out of my life, I'm going to throw you down the trash chute.
Okay, it's kind of what I got too, but it just I don't know, it didn't seem super obvious to me and never really addressed, but that's
Okay.
fine. I like the irony of him being a good writer of romance novels, right? This guy who
Yeah.
obviously is socially awkward and all of that stuff. Yeah, put Skeet Ulrich, Jamie Kennedy, Maya Rudolph
Maya
was
Rudolph,
one of the police
the police
officers.
officer. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
That was
I don't know
apparently
how.
that was
Oh, good.
apparently her first speaking
Her
role.
first credited speaking role. That's quite a career, and that's her first role. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. I don't know. I mean, I understand that Frank was trying to find a place for Verdell and didn't have anything. But all he knows about this guy is the last time he was around Verdell, threw him down the trash chute, and he said, "You are the guy who's gonna take this." That seemed a little weird. I put creepiest rendition of Bright Side of Life. I don't know. I don't know. It just came across as creepy. I put that Kinnear. He looks like a baseball with that stitching. Like that seemed not
Right.
great. It was interesting. I couldn't remember or didn't remember the progression of the healing throughout, and it was the scarring was still there. I didn't remember that being as brutal as it was at all. 6 different dogs played Verdell. Jack actually does play piano. He learned it for something in the 70s that he was in, and he played like that was
That's
him
him
playing.
playing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
According
that was
to
bullshit for
Google,
sure.
I know I thought so as well because they never showed his hands or anything, but
Right.
according to Google, that was him. Wood Harris, any oh shit, what the hell's that show that's like the best ever?
Star
Friends.
Wars.
No, HBO, the
So
Avon
Succession?
Barksdale,
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Dexter.
Wire.
Sopranos.
The Wire.
The Wire.
Wire.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Hilty.
Yes.
But him showing up, he was the guy who gave her the address or gave him the address for her as he's walking out. You guys have already talked about it. Pretty good Jack by Kinnear. Harold Ramis, that was awesome to see him. I guess to Aaron's point, so I'm a big fan of Mad About You. Love that show. When James and I first got married, like that was dinner a lot of times. Like she was working during the day and then I would go work at night and we would have dinner together, and Mad About You was what we would watch a lot. And then I remember her getting a hard time for this. And at the time I was like, what are you guys talking about? I don't get it. I 100% get it now. But at the time I didn't. And I wrote, I forgot how frumpy and New York she was in this. I don't know what that says about me, but let me see. Oh, there was a weird, I don't know. I don't know how to address this in a way that's tasteful, but so she's walking through the rain and goes into the building, and you can clearly see that on her back she has a bra. And
Oh,
then
editing
when she
issue.
goes in, that's not the case. I'm like, all right, well, they changed that. Then when she leaves that scene, you see that on her back. And so I don't understand. Bad bra, I guess, is the take.
Or gratuitous nipples.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was kind of weird.
Well, if we're gonna do
I
an
did.
editing thing, there's another major one. Is
Okay.
as they're driving in and Simon starts to say, "Hey, this is what happened with my parents." And Helen says, "Well, let me pull over. I want to hear everything you have to say." The top's down. And when
Oh,
she pulls over, the top's up on the car. Like that's a
yeah.
pretty blatant editing issue.
Yeah.
Hang
But
on. So
here's a couple.
I don't see it like to me, Tim. I noticed it, but they don't show them. Like it's not one scene where they pull over and she stops and turns off the car and turns to him and says, "Okay, tell me everything."
She says, "Tell me everything," while they're still in the car and the top is down.
You're thinking
And
she
then
closed the top to hear him.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a cut. They cut. It's a deliberate cut. It's a hard cut to them pulled over. I think it's even slightly even like darker and rainier outside and the top's up.
nope. As they show them pulling over, and as they're pulling over, the top's already up.
Okay. I
I
didn't
noticed
notice
that
that.
when I'm watching it today, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a bad edit."
Yeah, see, I just took it the way I was like, oh, I thought it was a hard
She put
cut.
it up so she could hear him. I get that.
Mhm.
I get that. But I mean, these are little things. Shut up,
Yeah,
nerd. I'm sorry. I'll
yeah.
do it to myself. Shut up, nerd.
I had the Carol the waitress Simon introduction. That was pretty funny. YMCA with the music. I thought that was pretty great when he did
Yeah.
that. And then like, hey, I'm
Hilarious.
just kidding. The Simon parents story. So that whole thing. And I'm like, these are the people that you're driving to go get money. I don't think this is going to work out well.
Yeah.
I just thought that was, I don't know. Oh, stupid. How is this shut in so tan? Jack Nicholson is way tanner than than Helen Hunt.
Everybody look at Dan right
Oh,
now. Look at Dan. Look at Dan right now.
ah,
Look at him. It's a
golf
lighting
salon.
thing, Dan. It's
Come
not
on.
you. It's a lighting thing. We were out
All right.
all week long.
So the mom who Shirley, shit, I looked that up like 3 times.
Shirley Knight, I think.
Thank you, Shirley Knight. She was born in 1936 because she looked young to be the mom. And I'm like, all right, so I want to look that up. She was born in 36. Jack Nicholson, born in 37.
Helen Hunt, 62.
Yeah, 3, I believe. But
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, 63.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I really liked I did like the stuff where when the you could see the progression and stuff. And so two things. When he's like, I need a coat and tie, and I'm not going to wear this thing. I'm going to go buy it. And the open, like the foyer, I guess, of the store is all crazy and like you can't avoid the cracks. And so he just stands there and orders. I like that. And then at the end, when he is changing, he's growing, and he opens the door and his foot touches the brick or whatever, and he just kind of like nonchalantly, all right, well, that happened, but nobody else noticed, and we're just going to move on. That was a nice little touch. I do remember that a lot. Yeah, I really like that one. The only other thing I was going to say, like, the moments where he, because of the disability or whatever, is very upfront and abrupt and factual, and that is mean and hurtful. Balancing that line, I get. When he's just mean to be mean, you're just an asshole. Like that is kind of the difference to me. I don't know. So that said, like I said, I tried to watch it last night, and it didn't hold up like I thought it would. I was surprised because I saw it in the theater and liked it very much, and obviously chose it for this. But and then watching it tonight, I got it a lot more. Like it resonated much more how I originally envisioned it. When I chose it. So there you go. Glad you guys liked it.
Good choice. Good choice, Melo. You
I
bring up
do.
a really. Oh,
Hang
go
it.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I think Melo, it was you were just talking about why they would pick him after the peeing in Lake Cuba. Like it was more he had the dog in his hand looking around, and Jack opened his and he was like, "You." That's all it was. It wasn't like I was looking for the guy.
I know,
And
and
then
he already had intimidated him, and
Yeah.
and like he's gonna make him do this.
Yeah, it wasn't wisdom.
right.
It was
But
Well,
in
and then
good
last choice.
conscience.
one of the other lines that I wrote down goes with that, where Cuba says, "I might want you to say no."
The day I'm having,
And that was
I kind of
great.
want
That
you to
was
say
good.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can watch this dog.
and then he never showed up again. Frank was not in the movie again. I thought he was kind of wasted for that, or like you felt like there should be something again at the end.
He's a great character for sure, and he acts it really well. And like Brian said, he's just coming off Jerry Maguire. And there was a thing about promotion where the producers wanted to put him as a name as the guy who just won an Academy Award before the movie title. And he, as an actor, said, "Nope, I don't want to take away from the other actors and what they did and how bigger their roles are than mine. So I'd like my name to come up after the title." And he kind of fought the producers on using his name and his recent,
Right, because
accolades, which is
they
great.
love
That
to do
says something
that
about
shit.
him as a person.
Forgive the term, but this is Kinnear's like coming out party, right? Like
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
I don't remember him
Okay,
anything
so
before this.
since you brought him up again, and I'm sure like he was just the face of it, but how innovative was Talk Soup, which he was. So, since 1991, on the E channel on cable,
I only remember Joel McHale.
yeah, he was before him.
That was the reboot of it.
He was the
Okay.
original one of
This
a
came out
person
this
who talked about like reality TV had just started. He would actually talk about what was happening on soap operas and the news. That's all it was. But it was a guy in front of a green screen telling jokes about what was going on. And like there are so many different iterations of that now. And I believe that was the very first one, and he was the first one to be the face of it. Not that he came up with it, but
Yeah.
now it's like all internet stuff that Rob Deerdeck talks about, but it's the same. It's all a ripoff of Talk Soup. Tim, were you going to say
That's a
something?
great take, and I do love soap operas.
Yeah, soap
Peppers.
operas, soap
Hey,
operas.
it's all good. Hey,
I
it's all
drink
accepted
pop.
here.
We all drink pop here, right?
We're all
Wait,
Midwest
maybe not
people.
Melo anymore. You might drink.
Yeah.
You might
Do you
drink.
drink soda
Nah.
now? Do you drink soda,
No,
Melo?
he down south. He might drink Coke. What flavor
No.
of Coke?
Nope.
Pepsi.
All right.
Nope.
Melo, thank
Hang
you
on.
for your takes on As Good as It Gets. I only have a couple of things to finish this out. One kind of goes with what you were saying. I don't know why, but I love this quote. Somebody else is sitting in his seat and he wants them to get up. And this is a perfect example of what you're talking about. If the person that he is interacting with doesn't matter to him in his world, he does not care what he says to them. So somebody says something, and I put this in the terms of Tombstone, where we just watched a couple weeks ago, and love how Doc Holliday talks in metaphors. I'm your Huckleberry. You're no Daisy. His line is, "People who talk in metaphors ought to shampoo my crotch." And that's his effort to get them out of the chair and make them uncomfortable and go. It's because he doesn't care about them because they don't affect his life. What's going on is he wants his chair and he wants his breakfast. And then the other quote is, as Simon is in his own words, I'm at rock bottom. He says, "You're a disgrace to depression." Um, Hitting somebody with that line when they feel at their lowest, holy shit, do you not care about other people? Um, and for this movie, and it's a romantic comedy, that comedy of him giving these lines over and over to other people, for me, is absolute gold. So if I'm giving this a number 1 through 5, I'm pretty high on this. I'm 4 to 4.25. I absolutely love this movie. So those are my takes. Thank you guys for all of your takes on this. We will have another movie coming up next week, but before we do that, we have to get everybody's guesses. So Hilty just left the group. He had something to take care of, but I texted him, and he said that he had a guess, but he was thinking about this and thought, who would try to hide it better than the guy who didn't show up today? So he guessed Matt
Ooh.
Smith as the pick of this movie, and perhaps Matt made up that his son won a championship at the Field of Dreams, which now sounds very make-upable. So I will go to, if you guys are ready for this, Brian, take your time. I will take your guess on who you think picked the movie As Good as It Gets.
So I did also think Matt ducking
Yeah.
was an idea, but because I don't know how well he is a poker player, so I haven't had the
he
opportunity.
didn't want to show up and give it away. Yeah.
But I am friends with him on Facebook, and I saw the award ceremony and pictures with the trophy for the team. So his son did actually win at Field of Dreams.
Or it's a really elaborate lie.
Yeah,
If you go to
such a
Facebook,
ruse.
like you're really going for it.
Can you imagine? That's so awesome. By the way,
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, agreed.
as an aside,
Congrats, Matt, and to your
holy
son.
crap.
I did also with Aaron, who thought this was a Dan pick for some reason, but then I listened to the podcast that came out this week, and Aaron said what I might think is the most insane comment somebody made, but he said Dan picks great movies, and that makes him want to pick better movies, which
All right,
is very
Brian.
close. Very
Ooh.
close. Yeah, I'm gonna finish. Actually,
Hang on.
thank you.
Before
I'm gonna finish.
okay.
I was going to
What?
mute him, Brian. Yeah, he did it. I was going to mute him. It's your pick. You
No,
pick.
go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Which is very close to the line of I want to be a better man. So my pick is going to be with Aaron Lash.
Okay, so what I was going to say was going this way. What if Brian had picked this movie?
Oh,
Doing it this way, we can't pick ourselves. Yeah, so we'll never get the one that we picked. So that's why I wanted to do it before an actual person picked that was here. So that the flaw in this picking is going to be that if this was my movie, I can't pick myself and get that point that I know I should get. But
that sounds very defensive.
Proceed.
After being picked for this movie. That sounds very defensive. I will go
well,
next
I
to
had
Dan
to run
Sears.
and pee.
Dan Sears, who do you think picked the movie As Good as It Gets?
All right. I'm not going to go into big, elaborate discussion about it. And I'm just going to say Melo.
Melo. Dan goes with Melo. Mike Wilden, who do you believe picked As Good as It Gets?
I think this was Tim Larson.
Oh, you're picking Tim Larson. All right. I will go. Just so I don't seem to be compromising myself. I believe Brian Larson picked this movie. And I'm going to say that character and Brian's propensity to say whatever he wants just kind of matches up with me a little bit. Aaron, who do you believe picked As Good as It
Tim.
Gets? You believe I picked?
Yep.
As Good as
That's
It Gets.
what I thought when I watched it.
Melo, your thoughts on who do you think?
I'm not going to
picked?
get into the how or why, but I think Brian.
Brian. Now we have one left, and it's Matt Smith, who we all know ducked showing up today because he picked this movie. And he has no poker face whatsoever. That son
He
of a
picked
bitch.
himself.
I feel like we should all vote and make a pick for him, but I will text him, and he will not get to hear everybody talk about it and see their poker faces, and he'll just have to pick dry, and shame on him. So, I hope my wife is still awake and we can actually pull this off. I'm going to randomize here. Give me just a second. It is whose pick is next? Who's after me? Melo?
What are we doing?
Well, you
Who
will be.
hosts?
What are we doing? Well,
You will
you know, we
host.
pick a movie and we talk
It's
about
either
it.
Melo or Dan.
I believe Melo is after me. Melo, I'm going to give you a random number,
Okay.
1 through 8, and I think. Do you guys remember this? Last week the number was 1. Matt rolled the die and we came up with 1, so
Correct.
1 is off the table. I'm going to hit random integer on my calculator. See if you guys see it.
Got it.
Number
Okay.
3. Number 3. So I'm going to text my wife. I'm going to tell her we need movie number 3. Boy, this would be fun to edit.
You really get to pick nothing. You just get to lead the conversation next week.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
lead the
Yeah.
conversation
And
without
maybe
knowing.
pretend like you picked it.
Well,
like
and
you did this week.
100%. That's what's happening.
I think what would be great is if, and maybe this happened this week, is if you have to lead the conversation and you're the one that picked the movie. How could you possibly keep a poker face through that conversation? I told my wife to stay up and I would be texting her, and what may have happened, she may be sleeping. So I texted her, number 3, what movie? We'll see.
Well, your whole premise about how hard could it be? I mean, just ask Dan. He did a wonderful job this week of not letting anybody know.
It's him.
That's true.
You
You
picked him.
didn't pick
What
me,
are you
Aaron.
talking about?
Right.
I'm gonna text Matt also, that poor bastard, and see what movie he or what person he
He's
thinks.
dry. He's halfway through. He's like in Western Illinois right now.
When
He's
that
been
text
home
thread
for
was going
3
on-
hours. I guarantee you, he's been home for 3 hours.
When that text thread was going on, and Brian and I both used what Melo had said earlier, I thought I was going to piss my pants on the couch.
All right, guys, the
Will
pick
this?
is in. The
Wilden,
movie we will
what
be
is
watching.
the movie this week? I don't even know.
The movie we'll be watching, number 3 is picked by we don't know. I, Tanya from 2017. We will be watching I, Tanya. And Melo, next week, you will be leading the conversation for I, Tanya. Whether you picked it or not, it's up to your poker face to help us out with the competition. It's a contest.
My favorite movie. All right.
How many of you guys have seen I, Tanya?
Is this like an anime or something?
Well, of course.
Hilty has.
This
What
is,
is that?
of course, about the skating incident with Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding.
Oh,
It's
I had
actually a
never heard
biopic.
of
It's
this.
Margot Robbie playing.
It's not the sex tape.
Well, let me check with Nikki.
they picked the wrong
Maybe it is.
one.
Maybe it is.
That's not the
don't
one I
know.
wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the one she gave us. So that's the one
I
we're
gotta
gonna go
hang
with.
on. I gotta email Nikki.
Hilty is not here to speak for himself, but I'm just going to guess that he has seen it. And who else has seen it? Brian, you have seen it, and who else? Dan, you're saying you've seen it, and Melo, you have seen it. So I, Tanya, is our movie, and the contest continues. Thank you guys for listening. This is the BTB Movie Club podcast.
That'll do it for this episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you as always for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourself a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.